What's going on, music makers? It's your boy Fly Guy J, and I'm back with another video. It's Wavy Wednesday, so you know what that means. It's time to check out another Waves plugin. Today we'll be looking at the CLA Vocals plugin, and I'll be showing you how you can use this one plugin to process your adlib vocals. If you're interested in learning more about mixing and mastering music or how to use certain plugins, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can get notifications of future videos. If you're already a subscriber to my channel, welcome back. And without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I pulled up a Pro Tools session for an unreleased song that I've produced featuring LJ from It's Just Music Group here in Rochester, New York. And if you've been following my tutorial videos, you'll recognize this song from one of my previous tutorials where I went over using the Studio Rack plugin to create a vocal chain for the lead vocal to this track. In this tutorial, we'll be looking at the adlib vocals. So you can see here is the waveform for the adlibs that LJ recorded. And for the insert plugins, I'm using the Auto-Tune Pro plugin just to get some slight pitch correction on the adlibs. But I'm only using one plugin to do the majority of the mixing of the adlib vocals. And that plugin is the Waves CLA Vocals Plugin here. The CLA Vocals Plugin is an all-in-one mixing plugin that features 6 sliders with 3 modes each that allows you to quickly shape your vocals using EQ, compression, reverb, delay, and stereo widening or doubling. The CLA stands for Chris Lord Alge, who is a well-known mixing engineer that worked with Waves Audio to design this plugin. This plugin is like having a Swiss Army knife in your mixing toolkit, and I highly recommend it to those of you who are just getting started in mixing or maybe recording and mixing your vocals at home. It's very easy to use, it's hard to mess up, and it will save you a lot of time in your mixing process. It's also a dope plugin for advanced engineers to have, especially if you're just creating a reference track or if you'll be sending the song out to another studio or mixing engineer to do the professional mixing. So let's start by playing back the song with the plugin bypassed, and then I'll play it back again with the plugin engaged. Listen for the background adlib vocals. So this is with the plugin bypassed.
I'm tired explaining myself, they added stress on my temple. I thought I was genuine, thought it'd all be so simple. I thought we was building, let the knowledge fall down and trickle. But I'm starting to see this business is just so fickle. I'm riding around with my...
And now we'll engage the plugin and play that back. Again, listen to the background adlib vocals.
I'm tired explaining myself, they added stress on my temple. I thought I was genuine, thought it'd all be so simple. I thought we was building, let the knowledge fall down and trickle. But I'm starting to see this business is just so fickle. I'm riding around with my...
So you can hear once the plugin is engaged, those adlib vocals sit back into the mix really nicely. To give you a better idea for exactly what this plugin is doing, let's play that back again, but with the adlib soloed. So this is the adlib soloed with the plugin bypassed.
Facts. I try.
Now I'll engage it.
IJM.
So you can hear that's a night and day difference between the raw adlibs and the processed adlibs. And by using just this one plugin, you can very quickly get from point A to point B. All right, now let's take a closer look at the plugin and I'll explain what each of the sliders and buttons do. So on the left-hand side, you have your input sensitivity slider. This slider controls the input level of the vocals coming into the plugin. And you also have this LED indicator light here. When the light is off, the plugin is not working. When the light is green, it's receiving signal. When the light is yellow, the plugin is working at its optimal level. And when the light is red, that means your signal is getting very hot and you might want to back it down some. So the first thing you'll want to do when you start playing back your audio through this plugin is keep an eye on this indicator light, and you'll want to adjust this input sensitivity slider up or down in order to meet the optimal level going into the plugin. Remember, you're aiming for yellow, but green is good as well.
Check.
So you can see for the most part, when the vocals hit the plugin, the indicator light is turning yellow. And in order to achieve that optimal level, I had to increase this input sensitivity slider about 3.1. Next to the slider, you have your input meter. And what you want to do here is just make sure you're not clipping. If these lights at the top turn red, then you're going to want to back off this input sensitivity slider so that you're not clipping your audio. The plugin features 6 sliders. You have your 2 EQ sliders, which are your bass and your treble. The bass deals with the low end frequencies and the treble deals with the high end frequencies. The default setting for the sliders are 0. For this particular track, I was trying to create a telephone type of vocal, so I wanted to filter out the lows and I also wanted to filter out the highs. If you hit the button at the top of the sliders, you'll be determining the shape of the EQ. If the indicator light is off, then you're bypassing that part of the plugin. For your bass, the first setting is sub, and this deals with the very, very, very low frequencies. If you hit it again, you go to lower, which deals with slightly higher, lower frequencies. If you hit it again, then you're looking at the upper bass frequencies. Same thing with the treble. The first mode is bite, which is dealing with the lower high end frequencies. And as you increase this from top to roof, you're dealing with the very high frequencies of the vocal. It's best to play back the audio and then experiment with the different modes and adjust the slider to taste. So you can hear for the treble, as you increase from bite to top to roof, the vocals are getting brighter. The compress slider determines the dynamic range of your vocal. As you increase this, you'll be shrinking your dynamic range. You have 3 modes of compression called push, spank, and wall. And these modes determine how aggressive that compression will be. As you go from push to spank to wall, the aggression of the compressor increases. Let's listen back. The reverb slider determines the amount of reverb that you're adding to your vocal. As you increase this slider, you will be adding more reverb to your vocal. Again, you have 3 modes of reverb. You have tight, large, or chamber. As you go from tight to chamber, the space of the reverb becomes larger. So let's take a listen. The delay slider determines how loud the echo of your vocal is going to be. Again, as you increase this slider, you're increasing the wet-dry mix, so the delay echo will become louder. You have 3 different modes. You have slap, 8, and quarter. Slap is actually a 16th note delay. 8 is an 8th note delay, and quarter is a quarter note delay. Let's check out the delay. One thing to note about the delay for this plugin is that it syncs to whatever your project tempo is. So you're going to want to make sure you have the tempo of your session set correctly. Otherwise, this delay is not going to be in sync and it's going to sound crazy. The last slider here is the pitch slider, and this controls the pitch modulation of the vocal. Again, as you increase this, you'll be sending more of the dry signal to the pitch modulation, so the effect will become more present. You have 3 different modes. We have stereo, wide, and spreader. As you move from stereo to spreader, the pitch modulation is getting more drastic and it's becoming wider in the stereo field. Let's take a listen. If you want to keep this vocal mono and you don't want to do any doubling, then you can simply bypass the pitch modulation. The last section of this plugin is the output section. You have your output meter, and again, you just want to make sure you're not clipping in the red. And you have your output slider, which controls the level of the audio leaving the plugin. Again, when you're using plugins, it's good practice to level match before and after the processing. So you'll want to adjust this output knob so that the level coming into the plugin here is matching the level coming out of the plugin here. That way you can get a true representation of what the plugin is actually doing to the sound of the audio. Once you hear a true representation of what the plugin is doing, then you could feel free to increase or decrease the output to taste. So as you can see, the CLA Vocals plugin is a dope plugin that will allow you to quickly create a dope sounding vocal very easily. I'll leave a link in the description for those of you who are interested in purchasing or downloading the trial demo of this plugin. Again, I highly recommend it, especially for those of you who are recording your vocals and mixing your vocals at home. If you learned something new today or you enjoyed the tutorial, make sure you give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what other plugins you guys would like me to review. And for those of you who are interested in hearing the full version of this song, it's unreleased right now, but I will be sure to update the description with a link where you can go ahead and stream the full version of this song. And I'll also leave a link to the artist's Instagram page in the description in case you want to check out more of their music. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, help me get to 1,000 subscribers by clicking that sub button, and make sure you hit the bell so you can get notifications of future Wavy Wednesday videos. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and keep grinding. I'm out.